Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Bug Beanstalk. We've got our 3 Beanstalks here, which combo and let us draw cards when we cast cards that have a mana value of 5 or greater. Murktide has a mana value of 5 or greater. Force of Will, which is a free spell, has a mana value of 5 or greater. And so does Murderous Cut, and of course Lorien Revealed, which is kind of part of our mana base. But we can potentially draw 4, 5, even 6 cards off Lorien Revealed. We are only playing 3 Beanstalks. Pokemoki, who pioneered this archetype, suggested only playing 3, and in its place, playing a Narset. So we're going to be experimenting with that. He is also playing an extremely tight threat suite, just 3 Murktides and 2 Orcish Bowmasters with which to close the game. This is a pure control deck. We are going to be navigating our opponents into a position where we can just beat them down with Murktide over the course of 2 or 3 turns. There's no I win button in this game. We are going to have to just be very careful. And I am a little bit anxious about that with all the Eldrazi and other crazy stuff running around, that this will work. But we're going to try. Pokemoki's been having success. You can watch a video where we did pretty well. We probably would have 4-1'd if I hadn't gone to time, just because of being a little too slow. You'll see if you watch that video. The things to note about this deck: tons of 1-ofs, 1 Spell Pierce, 1 Thoughtseize, only 2 Dazes, and then the removal, tons of removal in this deck: 4 Fatal Push, 2 Murderous Cut, 1 Dismember, 1 Shieldred's Edict, 2 Witherbloom Command. This is a really cool multimodal card where you can choose different things and you can do them, and they're all pretty powerful in the current meta. The other thing to note is that the mana base is pretty simple. We've only got 3 Wastelands. We're only kind of partially dipping our toe into tempo here. And then we just have really good mana. We've got lots of duels. We do have a single Surveil Land, and we have a single Mystic Sanctuary, which is very powerful in concert with our powerful 1-ofs and with Lorien Revealed. The other thing to note is that the sideboard is pretty simple. There's not there's a little bit of flavor here, but these are all just generically good cards. I mean, Pernicious Deed is just generically insane against decks like Death and Taxes and Painter. And then we've got a little bit of graveyard interaction. We actually have 2 main deck Nile Spell Bombs, because I think that Reanimator is still very strong despite the banning of Frog, and I expect to run into it. And this is also incidentally very good against Delver. And Delver is on the rise. It is good again, and you can watch me 5-0 with Blue-Red Delver on the channel. I published a video earlier this week on that. I'm going all the way up to 3 Hydroblast because it is really good against Delver, and it's also really good against Painter and Moonstompy. And we've still got the 3 consigns out of respect for Eldrazi. We are a Harbinger of the Seas deck, and we can lock out lands players and Eldrazi players if we get to that level. We don't really need green. We've got basically 5 green spells main deck and a couple other sideboard cards, but in that situation, you're happy to just have them not be able to access their colors, even though we only have a single swamp and a single island. So that was a pretty comprehensive deck tech. I'm really excited to play 5 rounds with this deck, and I hope you are too. See you in round 1. We are on the play in round 1 against somebody who most recently played Eldrazi. Oh, they could just waste us into oblivion. I think we keep it. This is a good hand in the blind. I'm going to definitely open Thoughtseize here. They're mulliganing. They could be on Reanimator. That's another deck they played a lot. They said, your name makes me think of Bill and Ted doing an air guitar. Thank you. So I am a huge Bill and Ted fan, especially the original movie. The sequels are, they're okay. But the original is just a classic, and I saw it when I was a kid, and it was hugely influential. Just their positive attitude and the way their curiosity. They're not smart, it's kind of like a Forrest Gump type precursor. Okay, so they do have a Wasteland, which is, potentially catastrophic here. Chalice is pretty bad. Kozilek's Command is also quite bad. I'm trying to decide if there's some card that we could take that would make them. I think we want to hit the Chalice. We do have ways of getting rid of it. Actually, I want to leave the Chalice because I want them, if they find some way to get Chalice into play this turn, I want to be able to daze my Underground Sea back to hand and counter it. Eldrazi Repurposer does ramp them. It's not a particularly strong card. I think we probably take Kozilek's Command just because it's like the most flexible of the cards. Thought on Seer we can't beat. Well, we can beat it with Fatal Push. Yeah, I think I'm going to take K Command. And they are probably going to lock us out. K Command is the most flexible card in their deck. Like, oh, they're leading with a Cavern. This is so good for us. My goodness, I thought we were going to be completely mana screwed. Now we do have some hope of finding a land here. We've got 4 looks at a land. All right, I'm going to fire this off. Don't deny me, deck. All right, we got there. We got the basic, too. That's pretty good. And we're going to have double days up, potentially, if we need it. We don't need this many Fatal Pushes. Let's put one back. We don't have a game plan, though. And we're not drawing another land after this, and we don't have a way to get another land. My hope is that because their hand is so land light, that they are going to be reduced to... hopefully they go Chalice and I can just daze here. That gives me stuff to do. All right, it is a dazeable spell. We will take it. Just going to daze this back to hand. We can play it out again next turn. We can daze again if for some reason they have like a Spirit Guide. I don't think Eldrazi generally plays Spirit Guides. All right. I think we go ahead and play this out, and if there's a creature in play, we have the option of dazing it back to our hand, but I think missing a land drop would communicate too much to them in terms of like, we're open, you can waste us. Their hand is Eldrazi Purposer, Thought Not Seer, 3 unknowns, I believe. If they give us a target for Fatal Push, then we can always daze our Fatal Push. So my hand is pretty bad, and if they attempt to do the Eldrazi Repurposer, can't be countered. So technically, if we daze, this does turn on Revolt and we can push this. It's not good. They get spawn tokens. So what I'll do is, if they waste here, I will hold priority and push and then daze. I think this will work. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I want to attempt to daze here. And I think this will turn on Revolt so we can kill this. Okay, so we're holding priority here. I'm holding down the control key. This should work. And then we're going to respond. Okay. And now we can pay 1. Oh no. I should have just freaking targeted the Chalice, then I wouldn't have had to pay 1. That was really dumb. Okay, so now they are going to get the Chalice. That was so dumb. Yeah, I meant to, for some reason I got confused with the daze trick. I got too fancy there. Yeah, that was a bad play. Okay, well, Chalice is out, and we just need to draw one of our many ways of dealing with it. We do have a lot of ways of dealing with it. I'm not going to put this Underground Sea out. I just don't want to lose it. We can untap and potentially cut. Yeah, this was just like a disaster. Like, if I had dazed that Chalice, then we wouldn't have to worry about Chalice being on the table. Which, right now it's just affecting the Fatal Push, but it's embarrassing that I screwed up that way. Okay, here's Thought Not Seer, uncounterable. You can take one of the cards in my hand. Probably going to take Murderous Cut. Shieldred's Edict is fine. Actually, I'd be more devastated by them taking Shieldred's Edict because Murderous Cut, I'd have to delve away a lot of my graveyard. They're going to know that I don't have another land here anyway, so it's not like I gave a whole bunch of information by not subjecting our Underground Sea. Okay, and they do, in fact, exile our Shieldred's Edict. Best draw would be up to Beanstalk here for sure, because then we have Murderous Cut to turn it on. But we need a green source. So I guess the best card would probably be like a fetch. Okay, Tamio's fine. No, she's not fine because she gets countered by Chalice because I didn't counter the Chalice. What I'm going to do here, it's possible maybe they don't waste me. I do get a little closer if I just go ahead and cut here. I guess the question is, do I want to cut now or do I want to wait and see what they draw? Do I want to cut with... Yeah. I don't think it really benefits me to cut right now. I'll just wait until they're going to combat. This is a hard deck to play. This is way harder to play than I think Esper Tempo was. Maybe I'm wrong. It feels like there are a lot, like this deck is just kind of, it takes a lot more mana to do stuff, even though this does top out at like 2. Like generally you're not spending more than 2 mana on any given spell. All right. I'm going to go ahead and cut this and get my card, and we're going to exile. These daisies are pretty bad. Don't imagine I'm going to bring them back with Tamio, and Fatal Push is pretty bad too. Actually, all these cards are pretty bad. They're all 1-drops that can't be cast under the Chalice. This is going to draw us a little closer to hopefully finding a Witherbloom command and a green source. Okay, we get a Ponder, which is not useful here, unfortunately. Ponder is probably a better pitch to force than... now I'm really regretting taking the Kozilek's command because I could easily force this. This Cavern is just... we've got too many boxes we need to check here. Yeah, and now it's open season on our Underground Sea for sure. They're going to waste it. Yeah, not the kind of start I was hoping for with this league for sure. This Chalice was completely counterable, and it would have been very consequential to the state of the game. But instead, I got distracted trying to protect my Wasteland, and I countered my own spell. I wouldn't have even had to pay for, you know. Okay, what are they doing here? Please do a Kozilek's command that I can interact with. I'll force literally anything that I can force here. Oh, they're even going bigger. So a Daze would have blown them out here. Oh, do they want to put the pedal in? No. All right, well, this is going to get countered. We're not going to give them cards. Yeah, I mean, there's like... It's unlikely they cast another non-creature spell for the rest of the game, basically. Like, they don't have, aside from Kozilek's command itself, they don't have a lot of selection in their deck. Eye of Ugin represents like a degree of inevitability that we can't keep up with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can start casting what is it called? Like the Destiny Devourer of Destiny. This is probably 3 mana. It could be another one of these. No, it wouldn't be an Eldrazi Repurposer. It's probably a Fleshraker. Oh, 4 mana. Please. Oh, 5 mana. Oh no. I really wanted the Thought-Knot Seer. Do they have another K command here? Okay, Devourer. It's not killing any of our stuff, which I guess is a blessing. And it's also worth noting that Lorien Reveal's good. I think we Lorien for a green source. I'm going to wait a turn. No, I'm just going to eat it out there because I could draw an additional land, and I'd feel foolish if I think I'm just going to get the Hedge Maze. I'm not going to pretend I have anything important, and we're going to get some card selection here. Murktide is precisely the card we need on the top. Murktide can just, end our opponents. And what we can do is we can even Fatal Push to get... no, we have enough stuff in our graveyard. There's no reason to burn a Fatal Push, because if we can remove this Fatal Push, it might be relevant. But our Murktide is going to be 8/8, which will stop the Devourer. Nothing we can do here as they waste. All right, we're taking 6. All right. We will actually be able to race them here, depending on what they do. They have 1 card left in hand. It's a Repurposer. That's a 3/3. We can't do anything about that. All right. They are very far away from activating Eye of Ugin, so Murktide is going to continue to just show the world why it's the best creature in Legacy, like the best big threat, even in a world of Eldrazi. It's an 8/8 flyer for 2 mana that would have triggered Beanstalk had we had a Beanstalk out. That's how good the card is. Like, and it'll potentially grow if we find another Murktide. They can no longer attack unless they drew like Dismember, or they drew, like, even if they want to like K command this, it's very expensive to do so. They could have a second Devourer, which would cleanly get rid of it. So if they don't attack, I think I attack, and then they are like really low on options because tapping Ancient Tomb does 2 damage to them. I definitely don't feel like I deserve to win this game. Is the Thought-Knot? Please be a Thought-Knot and not, Sowing Mica Spawn. They kicked and they took out our lands. Yep, we just lost all of our lands. Oh, they went for Yavimaya instead of wasting us. So they're just exiling one of our lands. So they now have 12, but they did lower themselves to 10 to do that. So we're just going to sit behind our wall. They can't attack, but we can't attack. Like maybe actually next turn they could attack. Okay, I'm just going to use this ponder. Just cast it into the void. Just as potential fodder. Because if I can find some way to delve away spells, that will be good. But I think we'll see what they do here. If they tap that tomb again, then we're just going to hit them. Okay, they drew something that does something, not just a land. Okay, they're tapping the tomb as a land, and now they're getting a chalice for 2. Okay. So now we're never going to be able to remove this chalice. And like most of the cards we can cast in our deck are now shut off. Okay. A second Murktide would be good, but we need a few turns to do it. This card will potentially be lethal. Unfortunately, we can't get any more sorcery or instant in our graveyard here. I think we just have to chill for another turn cycle. We're probably going to lose. Actually, I think I am going to play at the Tamio just to have a little bit further fodder in case I rip another Murktide later. Even though Murktide only costs 2 mana to cast usually, it is a 7 mana spell, so it's unlikely to get exiled or countered. It's practically impossible to get a chalice up on 7. I don't think I've ever seen it before. Okay, Secluded Courtyard. That's just a land. I think they do actually have like a deterministic win if they attacked. No, because I just blocked the biggest one and then I just stay back. We're going to go ahead and yeet another ponder into the abyss. And we're going to chill. Land plus Murktide off the top over the next 2 turns could win it. Their top decks are way better than mine, by the way. They're looking for, Devourer of Destiny, cards like that. Whereas we're looking at, potentially a land and then potentially a Murktide. And if I find a fetch, I'm not actually going to... I may actually just hold the land until I also have the Murktide. Oh, wait. If it's a black source, I can just cut and win immediately. Yeah, I can cut and win immediately if I find a black source. All right, let's do this. Fetch. They have 1 card in hand. I don't think it can save them here, but it could be like a Dismember. Dismember would keep them alive. Let's go ahead and make sure this resolves first. I'll just cut the big one. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't really matter. I could keep 1 up. It doesn't matter. I want to be mindful of time as well. All right, we won. I can't believe we won that after that punt with the days. So just to recap, like I wanted the days to turn on Revolt, get a land. If you days, you remove the land from play, and then it can target something that has more than 2 casting cost, up to 4 casting cost. And I meant to like target their chalice, but I was so distracted with my fancy trick and like holding priority with the control key that I accidentally targeted my, I think the spell that I put on the stack. I targeted the Fatal Push instead of targeting their chalice. So that game could have been a lot cleaner and a lot simpler. Consigns are coming in. Harbinger is coming in. We're taking out the days. Not good on the draw. We're taking out the spell bombs. Against aggro decks, I often do take out the Thoughtseize. Oh, Spell Pierce comes out for sure. That card's terrible here. And since we're taking it out, Deed is not the worst. Like, Deed would have been okay there. No, it wouldn't have been good. Because the thing about Eldrazi is you just have to assume you're not going to have any land. Narset's terrible. They don't draw cards. And it's a very high mana value card. Yeah, I think maybe I need to like look at the sideboard and figure out a mapping that makes more sense, because bringing in Bowmasters against Eldrazi doesn't feel right, but I think that is actually the play here, because what Eldrazi, like Bowmasters can like block ping and they can produce chump blockers and stuff like that. It's pretty weak. I think I'm actually going to bring the Daisies back in. They're not playing Vexing Bauble anymore, because it's banned out of existence. Good riddance. Yeah, I think we can just run it like this. My opponent's mulliganing. I'm mulliganing this Novalander. This is a decent hand. I'm going to keep this. I'll put back the Sanctuary. Sanctuary is a terrible land to draw. Vulnerable to the Wasteland. It only taps for one color. It doesn't have any positive benefits being out early. You just want to fetch it later in the game. Our opponent opens with Cavern, which makes me want to use this Force of Will on literally anything. Okay, not an explosive opening. I think we probably just... We could Island Ponder here. I think I'm just going to Underground Sea Ponder, and I'm going to hold this based on... to get more information about what they're likely to play. Consign's a good card, for sure. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop Cavernous Souls anymore. A second Force is fine. I do want to find a land. I'm going to shuffle. Murktide's great. That'll be our win con. They do have ways of dealing with it, but Devourer of Destiny usually comes out pretty late, and we might be able to tempo them. Yavamaya's great. Now I have a green source without even needing to go get a green land. So what I can do is I can actually go fetch a basic island here. So Fatal Push has literally no utility if we take this, but if we wait a turn, we're going to have Force Will with Beanstalk up. No, I think we need to force this because Brainstorm isn't going to be useful anyway without it. So we're going to Beanstalk this turn, and then the following turn, we can maybe Beanstalk again. I mean, that seems pretty good. Yeah, I am going to go ahead and get another Underground Sea. I'm just going to assume that they're not going to like exile their own land for some reason. I just want to make sure I have access to my colors. There we go. Land number 3. And that actually allows us to cast Murktide next turn if we need to. They're down to 3 cards in hand because they mulliganed. And their mana base is not scary at this point. Like, I don't think we're in any immediate danger of getting like kickered with Soaking Bucket Spawn. Thought on Seer would be sad. Again, we're a very threat light deck, so it may be a while before we find another Murktide, and we do need this Murktide to close. Soaking Bucket Spawn without the kicker is fine if they're just going to waste one of our lands. I imagine they're going to go get more mana, which is kind of troubling because they may be very close to getting Devourer of Destiny. This might be Eye of Ugin that they're getting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they have Devourer of Destiny mana if they get Eye of Ugin. Why did they get an Ancient Tomb there? That doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe they have a second Chalice. Yeah, that does make sense now. So, okay. We have 2 options. One, we can be greedy. We can go get another Up the Beanstalk. I think it's probably better to get the clock going, but it's worth noting that Murktide would actually come out as a 5/5, which is not very big or scary. I think we take an extra turn. They're down to one card in hand. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and do it this way because if I draw a Wasteland, I do want to waste them. I want to waste them off Yavimaya. Okay. So that doesn't really matter. I'll play this out and I'll just pass. Now I'm a lot less worried about land destruction. Also, every turn that they're tapping their Ancient Tomb for lots of mana is damage that they're inflicting upon themselves, which will speed up their demise to Murktide region. I am going to go ahead and just Fatal Push here. They have a lot of mana. Okay, yeah, I'm going to Fatal Push. I think they could very well have Devourer of Destiny now, which is very scary. I think I'm just going to get another Underground Sea. We're just going to Fatal Push here. And sometimes I like to pretend that, like, whoops, I didn't realize that was a mistake. Oh, yeah, the Chalice. Gee. But really what it is I'm trying to build up a whole lot of instants and sorceries for Murktide. All right. So Murktide is going to draw 2 cards. This is basically an oversized Mole Drifter here. Lauren Revealed's great. I think I am going to go ahead and just... if I Shieldred's Edict this, I think it's actually fine. It makes the Murktide bigger. And it makes efficient use of our mana. Now I'm just going to go get a Trop. Doesn't really matter. I could just get a basic Swamp here. Or I could get a basic Island. I think a basic Island is fine. Yeah, I don't really need to get anything back yet, and we're gonna just delve all this stuff away. So I'm gonna get a basic island here. Well, I don't want to draw the Mystic Sanctuary later, but I can Lorien for it. Yeah, I think I'll just get the Trop just so we have mana independence. And we're not dependent on their land to be able to cast our spells. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go get it, dragon. Double draw. Force of Will would be great. Murderous Cut's great. Consign of Memory's great. Wish I had more mana up. Maybe it was greedy to like make this bigger, especially if they just Devour of Destiny it. Because then we could have like consigned Devour. And yes, you may be thinking there's a Chalice out. You can just replicate and the replicated copy won't get countered. I feel like we're in a pretty good position even if they do have Devour of Destiny. They're going to have to take a bunch of damage casting it. Oh no, they might bounce. It looks like they're doing the bounce guy. Yeah. And if they paid more, they could actually kick her. Oh, it's just Thought Knot. Yeah, this is fine. They seem to be afraid of tapping their tombs. No, that's not necessarily true. Interesting. They took our cut. I would definitely take the consign, but I don't know what's in their hand. Consign stops so many things. Okay, we have Hardcast Lorien revealed. If we want it, draw a bunch of cards. I think I'm going to start by attacking. I think we do Lorien. There's a chance that we don't get another window to Lorien because they have like Soaking Weka Spawn kickered. Let's just draw our 7 cards and hopefully one of those will be a Force of Will. All right, these are not bad cards. Orcish Bowmasters is very weak, but with the amount of damage they're going to likely take, we may be able to finish them with it. It's worth noting that if they do even 1 damage to themselves, I can grow the Murktide by going and getting the Mystic Sanctuary and returning the Lorien to the top of my deck. If we untap, I think we probably win. They have K command. They could do it now. Okay, they're not kicking it, which is fine. Do they have Maze of Ith in their deck? That would be really good. Some decks have been playing Maze of Ith. Okay, they've got the Eye. That does give them the ability to go fetch stuff, but they're not going to have the life to tap these tombs for anything other than green. Also, if I find a Wasteland, I'm going to definitely hit the Yavimaya at this point. So 7, they can do 7 damage to us. We're not dead on board. I'm not worried. Wasteland is great. I think hitting the Eye is the responsible thing to do here. If we hit Yavimaya, they can't tap their mana. I think actually that might be the play. I'm going to go ahead and attack. And we're going to hold up Bowmasters as just a way to end the game. But I am going to go ahead and waste this this Eye here. No, I'm going to waste the Yavimaya. We already decided. Come on, be excellent. You can remember. All right. Let's go ahead and hit this. Now their mana is effectively, they can produce like 3 mana. And I've got double consign up. So I fear nothing at this point. Murktide is a hell of a card. And we got the GZGs in chat. We're 1-0. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're on the play against an unknown opponent. This is a snap keep against an unknown opponent. Look at all this interaction. If they are combo, I feel bad for you, son. With the Murktide in hand, it is tempting to go ahead and go for the Ponder just to fill up the graveyard so we can get a quicker kill. But I think I'm going to hang back and just get some more information because we don't know what we're looking for yet. We have a second land drop, and this deck can function on just 2 lands. I think I'm just going to Surveil here. This is the luxury. I added a Surveil land to the deck. Like I was initially skeptical, but it's already showing up. Witherbloom. I mean, this feeds Murktide, and we've got a Beanstalk to go up this turn. Beanstalk getting countered would not be the worst. Oh, Lorien revealed is good too. I'm going to go ahead and get our mana, and I'm just going to Beanstalk. They are showing us colors that might be like Jeskai or something like that. Beanstalk is very good against bigger control decks. Okay. They may brainstorm for a daze or something like that, or they may just have the daze. Spell Pierce. Well, I am very happy that I have this daze, and I can just answer this on curve. And if they force back, we're forcing. All right. It's in. Our force is now going to cantrip, which is a great feeling. And we're going to pass. They are likely on Jeskai control is my instinct. Based on the way they fetched for a basic. Okay. They could be on blue-white miracles. There are decks that don't even play red, which I think is crazy. Like, Jeskai is really strong here. I'm going to force this. And I think the card to pitch is Lorien Revealed. I don't think our mana is likely to be under attack, and I like the selection that we get from being able to inexpensively ponder. Okay, wow. All right, we're protecting the queen here. My goodness, we can just Merc now and draw a card. That seems pretty good. We don't have a way to protect, but I think just forcing them to do stuff is totally fine here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, Pokemoki might have hung back for a turn on this because we only have 3 win cons really in our deck, so we did just fire one off. Okay, Daze is a great pickup. Hopefully they try to do a Teferi or something and we can just Daze it again. That would be maddening to be on the other side of the table of that. We had basically a perfect draw. Yeah, that's fine. So our opponent cantripping in the face of a 6/6 and our ability to draw a card on every... I think we have a total of 11 cards in our deck that draws a card. 4 forces, 3 Murktides, 2 Murderous Cuts, and 2 Loriens. I did already pitch the Lorien, which, looking at the sheer volume of cantrips in our hand, we'll get through these. They're not going to chalice us. Please just don't play a land and try to plow. Okay, they're fetching a land. Pondering again. Why do I get the feeling that we're going to be able to Daze a plow here? My goodness, that would be so chill. All right, passing. Maybe to avoid force negation or something. Oh, well, yeah, let's just go ahead and attack. I'm not afraid of getting in a fight here. If they do manage to get rid of this, that's not the biggest deal. Okay, great. Now I can start chaining cantrips here. I think we just ponder to look for a land, and then we can brainstorm to draw a card if we... I think we could just stock up on forces here. Fatal Push doesn't do anything here. Yeah, I'm just going to stock up on forces. I do want to brainstorm to try to find a land, though, if I can find one. Okay, we found a land. It's not a good land, but I am going to play it. And then I'll draw Ponder for turn. Narset is an easy force, in my opinion. We'll just pitch a brainstorm because I do think that there's a possibility that Daze comes into play here. We're also drawing yet another card that we can use as a pitch spell. And this is why Beanstalk just beats up on non-Beanstalk blue-white control decks. Because we are achieving card parity and drawing a card to replace the card that we lost. I definitely want to find a wasteland here. I'm going to go ahead and ponder here. Actually, I'm going to brainstorm. Because if I find a fetch, I want to get rid of this Fatal Push. All right, we did find a fetch, and we found the best card in the entire matchup against them. So I'm going to play this, and we're going to pass. At this point, I'm almost certainly pitching the force, the Daze rather than the force. Jace the Mind Sculptor. So I could let it resolve, and then when they attempt to J-Storm, I could just Bowmaster. But they're almost certainly going to bounce this, but actually that's fine for me. I think they have to bounce this, and then I just put in Bowmaster and kill their Jace. Seems fine. I hope I'm not being overly fancy here, but I'm totally fine with drawing another card off Beanstalk here. All right, let's go ahead and do this. We are just completely savaging them in this game. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and ping Jace, I guess. That way I can attack it with both and guarantee it dies. Because they're not going to die next turn anyway. Oh, I should have fetched that away, but it's not the end of the world. I've got Hardcast Force up. Oh, yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and draw a card off Beanstalk before I do anything. Go ahead and get another Trop. No, yeah, I'll get a Trop. I've got another Ground Sea in my hand. Blue, blue, Merc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. Cantripping. Spell Pierce is a great pickup. They're not going to expect that. And if we do manage to Spell Pierce something, it's going to be very good. Attack all at Jace. And that might be greedy because like maybe we could have just won last turn, but like we have so much value. I think it's totally fine to play careful. Supreme Verdict is really the card that we're afraid of here. Teferi, I can both daze and force this, or daze. Yeah, I think I'm going to do this just to get in their head a little bit. So now they're going to have to pay for it. They're taking one from that. If they bounce with Teferi, they're actually dead anyway due to Orcish Bowmasters. So it's good that I'm using up their mana, and now we got some additional information from them. So they're paying, and then we'll just daze it, and then the game will be over. And we didn't even have to use this force. Okay. Yeah, that was just oppressive. All right. I'm not going to get conceded. Like, everything lined up perfectly. This is precisely what our deck wants to be doing. So, against them, Bowmasters is the best card to bring in for sure. Hydroblast, they are playing red, so we could bring in some number of Hydroblasts. I'm kind of tempted to take out all our soft permission because that we made such use of it. We used both the dazes and we used the Spell Pierce. Like, they're probably going to be afraid of it. Like, I certainly would be. I'd assume that they had 4 dazes, that we had 4 dazes and probably some number of Spell Pierces as well. Carpet, not necessarily bad, especially if they bring in Back to Basics. That is one of the cards at our disposal. Veil can potentially be a blowout. I don't usually bring it in against just straight like blue decks. I like bringing it in against blue-black decks. In terms of cuts, I mean, we've got a lot of cuts to make here. I don't think we need Fatal Push at all. So we can bring in Veil. Maybe we can bring the like 1 daze, 1 Spell Pierce in. Force Negation is another option. It's not a great card, but it is okay against Jeskai. I don't know. I'm wary of going down too much in cards. I think we could take out the Murderous Cuts. No, wait. We're definitely taking out this. Well, Dismember can kill. What's her name? I think we take out Dismember before we take out Murderous Cut. And then I am going to bring in the... I'm going to bring in the daze. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this matchup because Wizard Bloom Command doesn't really hit anything in their deck. I think we can take that out and we can bring in a Force Negation. Yeah, let's do that. So we have this sideboard that Pokemoki has built, and I've just made slight modifications to it. For example, like bringing in an additional Hydroblast. He had like an extra basic island, which I don't think we really need. I definitely respect his experience. He's played like hundreds of leagues with this, but like my instinct, having also played, probably at least 70 or 80 matches with Beans, at least that many, maybe 100 plus, and played it in lots of tournaments over the past few years. My instinct is that we probably don't need a second basic island in the board. This seems like a really good hand. We've got 2 of our best sideboard card. We've got Tamio to also kind of overload their removal. They're opening Prismatic Vista. I think we just play the Tamio and we get the force out of their hand. If we wait a turn, no, the Veil's not going to protect us anyway. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and I think I'm going to Underground Sea into Tamio. Yeah, we can get the island later. They do often play Back to Basics or even Blood Moon, so that is something to be cognizant of. And you could argue that this was sloppy and that we should have just like waited until we drew a Brainstorm so we could get like a card out of their hand. But I've got Bowmasters and that's the card I really want to stick. I'm going to go ahead and pass with Bowmasters up, and they should recognize the Bowmasters is up. They have a red source now. I am going to go get a white source here. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to get a basic. Is that cowardly? I am kind of afraid of Blood Moon. If we get the basic, we can just never have to worry about Blood Moon because we have lots of Hydroblasts and stuff in our deck. I am going to go ahead and attempt to do the Orcish Bowmasters. They can have a perfect Brainstorm now if they want it. But, okay, and they don't want it. Okay, they're going to just plow it right now. Sight unseen. That's fine with me. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I think if I draw a land, that'd be great. I do want to probably Brainstorm for a land, or probably Ponder for a land. They're fetching. Okay. Are they going to Pyro this? Spell Pierce. I think that's fine. I'm just going to let that resolve. And now I think I could brainstorm for a land. Yeah, I think that's fine. If I find a green source, that'll be really good. If we didn't find a green source or really anything, this is kind of bad. We don't want Shielder's Edict, but we are probably going to have to draw it. And Veil doesn't do anything. And I also live in fear of them somehow seeing the Veil that's in our hand. So I'll just put it back in case they have like... I mean, what's a card that people might be trying out? Vendilion Click? This is the part of the game where like the Jeskai deck does start to pull ahead because we don't have any card advantage engine and we're choked on mana. It's back to basics. I'm not a fan of. I think I'm going to go ahead and burn the Force here. Yeah, and I think we pitched the Pyro. It's just less flexible. Okay, we stopped that. That would have been pretty bad. That would have locked them off white mana, but still, like, we're choked on mana, and I don't really want to live with back to basics out. We only have 2 basics in our entire deck. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and brainstorm again and just got slightly better odds. Great. This is perfect. So this goes back for sure. I think we could put back the Veil for now. No, I'm going to put back the Swamp. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attack, and I'll hold up the Bowmasters. And I also have a Veil. I don't know what they could do that would be Veil worthy. I probably should have just played... Yeah, we'll wait and see if we can get lucky with a cantrip or something. Now our set is irritating, but we can go ahead and Bowmaster it after they've activated, so they won't know, and then we'll have Ambush mana up. Hopefully they don't find a Force here. If they find a Force, then what I'll do is I will... Teferi. Okay, that's scary. I'm just going to... I mean, they're about to pass, so I'll just go ahead and do it now rather than waiting for their end step. I think we could get the Trop here. So we have green up. And let's go ahead and do this now. Force is not a horrible trade. All right, and now we can attack down Teferi during our turn. So Teferi was like basically a glorified cantrip. Oh, wow. That is insane. All right, I am going to hold that and I'll ambush Teferi. No, you can't ambush Teferi, but I'll put it on the stack when they put Teferi on the stack. Attack Narset. Attack our opponent. Pass. And what we have now is we have the ability to potentially Veil a Force on, because they may cast Teferi here. Oh, they have Blast up. Well, guess what? Blast doesn't answer any of the interaction we have in our hand. If they're holding a red Blast and we do what we're going to do, I'm going to feel so good. Okay, Teferi coming down. Indeed. Let's go ahead and do this. They are ready to ping some people. If Teferi tries to bounce, it's going to be a double ping. It's going to be really brutal. We can't... I mean, we could Veil to draw a card. See, they did cast a spell just to cantrip through this. They could have Spell Pierce up. That would make sense. I think we're going to hold the Veil. If they plus, we're just going to attack down Teferi. So they're in a rough situation. If they have like Galvanic Discharge, I'm trying to think of what they could have that's red that could break this up. Okay. And that does result in a ping on Teferi, which turns back our Veils back up. Wow. Yeah, that was a desperate situation. And I don't think they made the right call, frankly. Okay, so we have 2 options. One, we can just Thoughtseize now. I kind of like doing that. That does take us off Bowmastering here, but I just want to make sure they don't have like Supreme Verdict or something in hand. Okay, they do have Supreme Verdict. Exactly, Supreme Verdict. I'm not worried about 4th Aerolingus. They did have the Pyroblast, so I was correct. Yeah, I think we just take the Supreme Verdict. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. By all means, create a 4th Aerolingus and get the Monarchy. I'm going to ping the hell out of you if you get the Monarch. And I'll probably take the Monarch too. They are in a tough spot. My goodness. And they know the other Bowmasters is coming too. That's absolutely desperate. But they know it's not going to get any better because the second Bowmasters can come down. They're dead on board. They're going to need like a prismatic ending to deal with this. And they're going to have to go after the actual token. They're not going to be able to go after the Bowmaster because the actual army represents the lethal attacker now. Mystic Sanctuary. They can buy back something, but they can buy back Supreme Verdict. Prismatic Ending, okay. Are they going to have to cantrip again? Now they're Narsetting, which is fine. Okay, they're activating Narset, desperately digging. And really, they just need a... Okay, they got the Prismatic off the top. Now they can end this, and that is totally fine. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is... Their hand is currently just Pyroblast 4th. Yeah, I think it's exactly Pyroblast 4th. They're tapped out of Pyroblast. I could go get a... I am going to go ahead and do this. Boom, boom. We're going to ping Narset. That way if they minus, they lose the ability here. Does that make sense? We could actually disable them even going deeper by just attacking Narset now. And then Narset just sits there for a turn. I think that's better. I don't want them to even be able to activate Narset. I'm not worried about a big 4th because, again, it will give us the Monarchy. Most likely. The Monarch. And they could just create some tokens for blockers. That's probably the right thing to do here. If they draw Days Undoing, that would be an absolute, blowout. That would be a way they could get back into the game. Okay, they're 4thing here. And they're keeping up the Pyro mana. The question is, are they going to attack? I think they're crazy if they attack here. Okay, so what I think we can do here... I do want to put a card on top. I could put a Thoughtseize on top and just take their Pyro. I don't think that's bad. Yeah. Yeah, maybe this was kind of like a sclerotic play. They have one other card in hand. I want to see what it is. Oh, it's a Brainstorm they can't use. Yeah, you can keep that Brainstorm. I'm not going to attack. It's not worth killing Narset and losing my 2 guys. I'm just going to hang back. Hopefully they're drawing lots of cantrips. We will eventually draw like Beanstalk, Murktide, lots of good stuff. Lorien revealed. Yeah, I think we just hold it. If we draw another land, we're definitely going to use it. Their hand is Brainstorm Unknown. They've already used their Mystic Sanctuary, so they can't buy back 4th and try to surprise us that way. They do have potential hardcast force up. Oh, we can't Yorion yet because of Narset. Best draw is Bowmaster. Hydroblast is not bad. Actually, we could just Hydro and then we could attack in and kill Narset. We'd give up one of our Bowmasters. Is that a good play? I feel like if we just wait. Yeah, I'm just going to wait. Because if we draw another Bowmasters, like, that's so much better value. Okay, they have 2 unknowns and a Brainstorm. If they have Dress Down, they may be able to actually cast that Brainstorm at some point. Days, pretty terrible card, but it does pitch the force. If they are able to Brainstorm, the thing is we don't have the land yet, so I am a little loath to do that play where we attack in. It does leave them with the blocker for the subsequent turn as well. I'm just going to chill. I think us having double Bowmaster and locking them out of cantrips is more disastrous for them than them locking us out of cantrips. But again, I could be completely wrong if they just untap, Days Undoing. All right, there we go. That's what we wanted. So let's go ahead and do this. Not going to wait around. I'm just going to go and do it now. Buy Narset. And then we're going to go ahead and attack with our Orc Army. And they're going to have to trade. I think this is correct. They don't have to trade. They could just take it. Okay, they are taking it. Or they are blocking. They're double blocking. Okay, that's fine. All right. And now we're passing with tons of interaction up. They're fetching. They could have another 4th Aerolingus. How do we feel about this? I don't particularly care for it. I think I'm going to force pitching Lorien. Well, I mean, this locks down their mana as well. Right, my keyboard thing just failed. I think we could go ahead and force, and then maybe we could veil. Let's go ahead and pitch Lorien here. Okay, that worked. End step, I am going to go ahead and blast that token. And then we're going to attack. Okay. We haven't gotten a chance to veil yet. Ponder is a good pickup. I'm going to go ahead and ponder to see if I can find some interaction. Spell Pierce is interaction. It's not great interaction. We do have Lorien revealed next turn. I still think we can do better. Narset is really good. We'll attempt to cast that next turn. I want to make sure this attack goes through. They're going to 2. I think we go for this. I think it's highly likely they counter it, but now they have to deal with 2 things. Okay, let's just minus. We miss. That sucks. That is one of the downsides of having Narset in a deck that has a few creatures. Like, you really want to play Narset in like almost completely creatureless. Okay, we won the match despite my my trackpad stopping working. It seems to be working again. So if I seem awkward for the last minute there, this is like I had to reach over and like actually put the inputs on my laptop instead of my external keyboard. Okay, cool. Let's go to round 3. We are 2-0. We haven't lost a single game yet. Round 3, we're up against an unknown opponent. This is a mulligan, no lander. I'm going to mulligan this. This is a keep. This is pretty good. They're mulliganing as well. The 5 cards. Damn. Hopefully we don't get turn 1, but I'm not going to put back a hand that's this good. I think this is good in a lot of dimensions. I'm going to put the Spellbomb back. I may regret that. But if you look at our hand, like, we've got Beanstalk into a lot of things going on. We can get the Trop. We can actually go get the Hedge Maze and try to find another land. Our opponent is just playing a land and passing, which is great. And I think we're going to do the same. I don't want to ponder against an unknown opponent just to find land. I want to chill. Also, it's possible that they're a daze deck and pondering, makes your days worse. Okay. So they are likely graveyard strategy is my vibe. Okay. Main phase brainstorm, so a combo deck of some sort, maybe Doomsday. All right, Hedge Maze time. Let's try to find a non-wasteland land. That is not a land we want. Okay, we have several options. One is just to waste and chill, which I'm not opposed to. They could be brainstorming for land here. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with that first, just to get days off the table. Now I'm going to go ahead and ponder. I don't want to have to bounce this back to my hand with the days if I can avoid it. I'd like to find a force here. We do find a force. We find another wasteland. However, this is extremely vulnerable to them wasting us back. This said, I think I'm going to live dangerously here. I'll take the force. Yeah, because I mean, if they are a combo deck, like this is definitely the right play. If they're a tempo deck that just got like somehow... Okay, great. So now we're going to draw that wasteland and we can Beanstalk. Yeah, this is shaping up pretty good for us. This is Christmas Eve morning, 2024. If you hear my kids playing the piano, they are in a festive mood. My son got Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. My daughter got Zelda Wisdom something. It's like it's a Zelda game where you play as Princess Zelda. It's pretty cool. And yeah, they're both in a good mood. We're gonna go see the grandparents today. All right, another force. You don't dislike it. However, we're just chilling. I mean, like, I'll take it. Like, have a double force up with a Beanstalk and play as a just chilling. Got their next land covered. I'm going to assume they play some basics. They just got unlucky. Wow. Opal, okay. Diamond. Yep, I'm going to let these go. Another diamond. Okay, I'm glad I let those go. Now they've got Brainstorm, sure. Like, there's definitely like the line where you could daze here, and then they have to potentially crack a diamond and pitch their hand to Brainstorm, but I feel like we're in a pretty good position here. It is unfortunate these cards are completely dead. Hopefully we find a Brainstorm to put them back. Also noteworthy that we can't Murktide yet, but I'm hoping that our Beanstalk force triggers draw us into some cards that we can, like, Narset actually might be a really good card against them. So maybe I do want to pitch the Murktide. Murktide's not going to be very big when it hits the table anyway. Narset would be able to dig for more interaction and lock them out of a lot of decks are playing Echo of Eons right now. All right, I was able to play some guitar while our opponent tanked on their Brainstorm. All right. Witherbloom Command would be good once we get more land. Okay, Brainstorm. I am going to go ahead and Brainstorm. I do want to find a land. I think there's a high likelihood of us finding a fetch or a Lorien Revealed to shuffle. Wow. Or we could just find none of that stuff. Yeah, I guess we're just going to have a third force effect. I don't hate it. Yeah, we'll chill. We are going to have to go to discard, which is a bummer, but Murderous Cut is almost certainly a dead card here. It is food for our eventual Murktide. Taiga, that is a wastable land. Lotus Petal, sure. Okay, 4 cards in hand. We know we're not going to draw anything good here. It doesn't, yeah, there's not really anything we can do. We just have to discard stuff. But like forcing a Lotus Petal, come on. Like it's definitely better to have the interaction up. And there's no Vexing Bauble that's going to lock us out. Like we would force it anyway, even if it were legal. We'll force the Fence Grid. We'll force Veil. We'll force anything at this point. Okay, this is a force. And I am going to pitch the Merc first because it's not interaction. I'm just going to pitch the Narset now. And our opponent is just supremely unlucky. Not only did they get mana screwed, but their opponent drew into triple force. We get another draw here. So we've drawn our bad cards back. We've used 2 of our forces, but they're down to 2 cards. They may go for their line. They were going to try to protect something. Good news is we shouldn't need a discard for quite a few turns. Okay. All right, we're still chilling. Still chilling. Come on, deck. Give us a land. We're 41 cards in, and we've seen... I guess I did bin the Mystic Sanctuary. That would have been good, actually, in retrospect. But don't ever let that sort of, you know, thinking hit you. All right, Dark Ritual. We are going to have to... I mean, we can still lose now because we're down to our last line of defense. But Witherbloom Command would just be astonishingly good if we can cast it, because we can waste and we can get back our probably a fetch to get a second source. Okay, what are they doing here? Gamble, sure. They did not get lucky with that. Okay, so they are cracking these LEDs. Do they want to crack one more? All right, we're going to get a draw trigger off this. And it's out of their graveyard. Wait, do they get to cast it again? Are they're casting it. No, they're casting it from the graveyard. Okay. All right, we got our land. So we're going to definitely just start wasting them and, you know, Witherbloom commanding. They are not scooping yet, but they probably have no prayer at this point. My opponent said it would have been better to wish for Thoughtseize, and yeah, that might be the case. We could just get them dead and cantrip. I think that's better than... Let's go ahead and waste that. Yeah, they just scoop. Tough beats for them. Like, we got, like, the God Hand, basically, against them. Like, drawing a bunch of dead cards wasn't even that big of a deal because we had 3 forces. They had a good hand, actually. Like, double Veil is pretty good, but our hand was better. All right, so now Spellbomb comes out. All our spot removal comes out, and we're going to bring in a ton of interaction as soon as MTGO starts responding to my inputs. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Storm makes it easy. They don't play anything that you need to kill, so you just have like tons of free sideboard stuff. These are all coming in. This Veil itself can come in. It's pretty good against them. Cage does stop them flashing back, and it stops some of their graveyard lines. I think it's worth bringing in. It's definitely... I mean, now Spellbomb's probably actually better. Maybe we run a Spellbomb instead. It's worth noting that Spellbomb doesn't stop them being able to flashback, though. The fact that it cantrips, though, It's pretty good. I think it's better than these other cards. Bowmasters is okay, but like that's not really like the area that we're worried about. Narset seems like it'll be good. Witherbloom Command is pretty good. We could cut a basic swamp here. And then we could bring in a Nile Spell Bomb, and we could bring in a Bowmaster. We could also bring in Harbinger. No, Harbinger's not right. So much of their mana comes from artifacts. Deed does blow up their board, but like I feel like that's like if you're getting to the point where you're casting Deed and you actually have mana up to do stuff. If they were on a, if they show us Urza Saga, then I will bring in Deed. And I know you may be saying like, why did you take out a swamp? Like you just got mana screwed in that game. That was just that game. We have 20 mana sources in our deck, and really this is an extremely low curve deck. This is a good hand. I don't think they're going to go all in against us. I think that'd be crazy. I like the Spell Pierce and the Hydroblast, so I'm going to keep this. All right, and as hoped, they are not going to try to turn one us here. They are taking a more deliberate line. The Epic Storm is not like a crazy unfair deck. I mean, technically what they're trying to do is inherently unfair, but like I respect the deck a lot more than I respect like Oops and decks like that are basically glass cannons. I think here we can, if they don't do anything, I do want to get the Surveil out of my deck. It's a bad draw. They're fetching. Underground Sea, so they are going to cast something this turn. A Thoughtseize. I think we just Spell Pierce the Thoughtseize. This should, like, preserving the information is useful. If they have the thing, then they have it. So I'll get Trop, and I will Pierce. One of the innovations Pokemoki made is only having 3 Beanstalks in your deck, which is, it feels kind of crazy, but it's actually like, we've been drawing plenty of them, and I don't even really want to tap out for it right now. Force. Okay. I think we wait. That may sound crazy, because we can just Beanstalk, and then we can have Beanstalk over Force. No, let's go ahead and do this. We're drawing into potential other forces and are making our current force better. Yeah, and now if they have like everything plus a Veil, we're kind of screwed, but we do get a chance to potentially find another force on the way out. And if they're not going to go for it this turn, okay, they're not going for it this turn. I'm so glad I did that. A land is perfect. I think what we do here is rather than taking them off a land, which isn't that big a deal, we keep the mana open, so we have Hydroblast up as well. A lot of their key spells are red. Like Burning Wish. Yeah. And also they may think we have another Spell Pierce, because we did show them Spell Pierce there. So they may be a little like loath to go for it. Burning Wish. This is precisely the kind of thing we want to go ahead and just Hydroblast now. So I'm glad we kept it around. This could be going to get a Thoughtseize, and it's just a 1-for-1 here. We're making efficient use of our mana. Depending on what we draw, we may be able to waste their... I think I am willing to waste them now. You may be saying, "Oh, just cast the Murktide and kill them." Yeah, we'll do that in like a turn or two. It is also possible that playing out this Spell Bomb is correct, but I'm going to do that next turn. I'm going to cut them off this. Green mana is really important. We're cutting them off red too, which is not nothing, because as I said, red is an important color. But the scariest card in their deck is Veil. They've got 6 cards in hand. We've got like a free Ancestral Recall whenever we want to use it. I'm feeling pretty good. Hydroblast is a great rip. I am going to go ahead and Witherbloom here just to get the waste back and waste them and drain them for some life. That may not seem like a big deal, but like life does matter a lot. Because that's like an extra storm they'll have to generate. So we're going to get our Wasteland back, and we're just going to immediately waste them. And then next turn, our Murktide is going to be quite large. So it's not unwinnable for them, but it is definitely going to be rough. Okay, and no play. So now we can develop our Murktide. We'll probably rip a land. Oh, we ripped a land right there. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and start with the Murktide. It's not going to be huge. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, not an embarrassing size. And you always want to get the fetches out of your deck to the extent possible. Okay, and they conceded that. We were about to draw 3, and then we had Force, which would draw another 3. Just absolutely devastating for them. That first game as well, but this game especially. We are 3-0. We haven't dropped a single game. Let's go to round 4. Round 3, we're up against Turbo Doomsday. Actually, this is round 4, sorry. We are 3-0. I mean, this has 2 dead cards against Turbo. I think we mulligan for interaction. We're just never going to be able to force with this hand. This is way better. Oh my goodness, I'm so glad I mulliganed that. Let's put back the... I put back the Murderous Cut. We've already got a Delve spell. They're unlikely to play creatures. I think Fatal Push is more flexible. Also, it's something we can just pitch into the graveyard potentially more easily than Murderous Cut. All right, we've got our colors. We've got 2 forms of disruption. Stack Disruption. They're fetching. They've been playing Doomsday a lot. It's always embarrassing when I'm like, all right, they're definitely on Doomsday. I'm going to mull for them to be on Doomsday, and then they're on freaking Tundra. Yeah, so they may be on something else here. They may be on Nadu. That's a deck that virtually everybody seems to be on right now. They, yeah, I mean, they've been playing almost exclusively Doomsday for the past few months. So just doing an educated guess there. If they're on Nadu, the Fatal Push will be good. Okay. I want to get this out of the way. I don't expect them to just win out of nowhere with a Tundra. I'm going to put that in the yard. That feeds the Murktide. But because they have white, Murktide is not as reliable of a win con. Because they can just plow it. Also, they have a really fancy version of Tundra. This is really expensive, I think. Oh, yeah, I definitely think they're on Breakfast now. They could be on Curie Knot, which would be awesome, but Lotus Petal means they're on Breakfast. There's the Illusionist. Just going to let it happen. And then we're going to have to force the... oh, okay, good. They don't have it. All right. So we've got a Fatal Push for this. I am unworried. I do want to keep a Spell Pierce. Yeah, I'm just going to we'll go to their turn. I do think Tamiyo is going to be better than Murktide. And my reasoning is we do want to recoup some value here. They could Nadu here, but they have the win next turn, as far as I know. The reason I didn't play out Tamiyo there is I do want Spell Pierce. If they try to do something, I want to be able to push and pierce. And then next turn, I can definitely develop her. They could be struggling on mana. Yeah, it looks like they are. They didn't even bother attacking, which they may be thinking Bowmasters. Let's go ahead and cast this on this. We do have to win this fight. Okay, they milled another Illusionist and a Teferi. So sadly, I am going to probably have to force pitch Merc here. All right, that's a huge relief. Because, I mean, that was just going to be GG. A second Merc. I'm going to develop the Tamiyo, and I'm going to pass with 2 forms of interaction up. Hopefully that's enough. I doubt they make any constructs here. I would not be surprised if they just play a Nadu, which I will force and Spell Pierce their interaction. And then they're going to be in a pretty bad place. They won't have much mana at all on the table. I think this only gets Shuko. They may have Lotus Petal as a one of. Whenever I played Breakfast, at the time, Larson, the Breakfast champion, the champion of Eternal Weekend Europe, who got there with Nadu Breakfast, he was a big inspiration for me. I think if we pierce, they can't create anything, but then they could potentially win. Yeah, I think we just have to let this happen. She is a lightning rod for removal. Our Murktide will get it done. It's just going to be a few turns before Murktide can come out. Hopefully there's a stack fight here, and then I can, actually cast a Murktide. Because we want the fight sooner rather than later so we can get the fuel in our graveyard for Murktide. But if they have a second plow, it just invalidates that. Nomads, we can't stop. It is another redundant effect. And now any Cephalid Illusionist off the top is death for us. And any Nadu is probably death as well. Yeah. And unfortunately, they didn't really cast anything we can target. So we're not going to be able to Murk now. We're going to have to wait. Land does get us closer to murking. I'm going to play it. They're going to be able to attack us for 2 here if they'd like to. So we're not able to capitalize on them being stymied on land. Not stymied, but just like they're crimped on land. For some reason, they didn't equip with Shuko. I think that was a missed opportunity to do some extra damage. All right, we're in the waiting room. Fetch would be good. Warrior would be great. Okay, this is great. I'm going to go ahead and do this. All right, and now I think for the sake of momentum, they're unlikely to Nadu next turn. What are the odds that they have Force and Blue card and Illusionist when they've already gone through 2 Illusionists? That's really all we have to worry about. I think putting a 5/5... Well, we would also be playing in a daze if we put the 5/5 out. I'm going to wait one more turn. Yeah. Actually, we wouldn't be playing in a daze because they don't have an island. All right. They are equipping now, and they're attacking for 2. That's fine. We're not going to die this way unless something catastrophically wrong happens. Especially if they're plowing our Murktides and we're getting a bunch of life. All right. I would love to find a Witherbloom. Bio's not terrible. It's not great. I'm going to go ahead and use it. We're going to Murk here. 1, 2, 3. The slowest, saddest Murktide. But it's not going to get dazed. I will... Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think I pierced this. Yeah, because we need forward momentum. The card that they pitched was a Narcomoeba. Yeah, that explains a lot. Like, their hand's just really sclerotic. They're forcing again? Down to 1 card. We can't go naked. We're just going to take that as a gift, and we're going to hold up our interaction. They pitched a Ponder as well. So we're going to take our 2 damage, and we'll develop our Murktide later. It sucks because we've got all these lands that we don't really want. We just want cards in our graveyard. But now we have 2 cards. So technically we could just mark again right now. But that, like, I would only consider doing that if we went off Force. And like any blue card we're going to draw is probably going to be better than casting a Murktide here. Thoughtseize doesn't do much here, but it is food for the Murk. I'm going to go ahead and do it. What's that last card you were holding? Okay, well, Cephal Illusionist is definitely going. You keep the Thassa. Good to know about. Here... yeah, I think we have to wait another turn because, no, wait, they would need a land. Yeah, I think we can safely Murk now because they would need both land and, the 4th, Cephalid to win here. And we do want to get the clock going, even if it's a very slow clock. This also stops them from attacking for a turn, thus further cementing us as the likely winner from combat. Okay, they did find a land. All right, we have Hardcast Force up. I'm just going to start attacking. And I will Hardcast the Force on something that looks forcible, just to be mana efficient, because I'm not afraid of dying now. Okay, they're fetching, probably getting a Surveil land. So we have them on a 2-turn clock. Yeah, their desperation. They really got mana screwed here. They should attack. They're brainstorming. I'm just going to force this. We know that their hand doesn't do anything. Up the Beanstalk is great. Green, black, Beanstalk. It does take us off Force, unfortunately, but I think it's worth casting out. Okay, now they're going to know that we don't have a Force. I'm just going to go to combat. I mean, we could lose now, actually, because of me playing the Beanstalk out. Maybe that was a misplay. We could, if we play this out, we're not on they'll know we don't have Force up, but we could have like a Fatal Push or something up. I mean, I don't think it hurts. And this gives us the ability to put the Force back on top, which basically locks the game up for us. This is their turn to win. And the odds of them winning are extremely low because they have to have Cephalid Illusionist, which they've already gone through 3 of them. Do they have it? That's fine. Okay, so we know their hand again. I'm going to go ahead and... No, I don't really want to put Force back on top. I mean, it is safe to do that, actually. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Because if we just hardcast a Force, that does cantrip. Okay, and now we've got double Force. All right, and they have to kill us. Like, it would be, an incredibly embarrassing defeat to die to a 2-1 Nomad Anchor. Okay, they're not casting anything. Like a single Bowmaster. There's so many different cards we can draw that are good here. And we're not taking ourselves off force by casting anything. Force number 3. Okay. We've got enough forces. Okay, opponent did find another land. Nadu is a possibility here. But again, we know that at least one of their cards in hand is a dud. Their top decks are much worse than ours in general, just because they play, Narcomoebas and stuff like this. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut this now. I'll just pay the full amount, I guess. I just want to draw a card. And we'll see what we draw here. Maybe that's a mistake, but I want to keep stuff in our graveyard for when we draw a mark so we can just end the game. Yeah, that was probably a mistake because I could have just blown up like lots of things and rebought a land for turn. Yeah, maybe I should have. Well, no, there wouldn't be a land in my graveyard to rebuy. Okay, they're surveilling. So they're going to have 2 unknown in hand. I mean, this could be the win if it's like a, Veil of Summer. We do have Daze mana up if Daze is their protection spell. That's fine. That will die to Witherbloom next turn. Okay, they're equipping and they're passing. I'm going to blow up both of these, and I think that'll be the end of the game. Green, black. I'm going to play out a land just in case I need to hardcast force here. Green, black, Witherbloom. And let's just destroy both of these. It's a clean 2-for-1. They're going to need to draw so many things to catch up with us. We're just taking it slow and steady. This is kind of how you beat breakfast. Like, you run them out of cards, and then you wait for the terrible top decks to bury them. Don't draw a land. Okay, Beanstalk is great. I'm going to go ahead and just do it. Now I feel like so safe. I'm going to go ahead and just force this. Don't really care to give them any card selection at all. Okay, Daze, another form of interaction here. This is in. Can we draw another blue card? No, Fatal Push is still good though. We've got tons of mana. They've been very disciplined about not using the Lotus Petal this entire time, and it may pay off for them at some point, but I don't think they're going to be able to get through our barrage. Well, I'm just going to Daze this. I'll pick up the Hedge Maze at this point. No, I'll pick up the Mystic Sanctuary. Not even using the forces. They're dazing. That's fine. Your daze will counter my daze. And now I'm going to force. Pitch Force. We will pick up another force here. They have 1 unknown in hand. All right, we got it. That was a long game. Pernicious Deed effectively just ends the game. Like, once you have it out, like, they just can't combo. They can remove it with, but basically it blows up so many things. It's really good. I don't think Force Negation comes in. Harbinger actually is pretty good against them. Bowmaster is really good. They've got several X1s in their deck. I'm loath to remove interaction, like stack interaction, but I think we do take out the dazes. Now Spellbomb cuts off their graveyard approach. Spell Pierce is not that great because most of their good spells are creatures. Carpet's not terrible. If we bring in Carpet, then suddenly we have the ability to, like Harbinger of the Sea, that means we get all our mana colors. And Carpet can be good in terms of it's just keeping mana up. I think what we can do is we can take out the island since we're adding a mana source. Shieldred's Edict is surprisingly effective at killing both Teferi, which is a problematic card, and Nadu, if Nadu's their only creature. I'm not sure about it. It is kind of expensive. I think we keep it in. Witherbloom is insane here. I think we cut a Murktide. Is that safe? We did bring in additional win cons. I think it's totally reasonable to win with Orcish Bowmasters against their Weenie deck. And technically, Harbinger can attack too. They may bring in Carpet. I'm not sure if Nadu decks ever play Carpet, but that is something to keep in mind. This is kind of a slow hand. If they turbo us, they turbo us. Deed is a really good card. I kind of want to go faster than this. I'm going to mulligan. This is better. It doesn't have a second source, but I like the Witherbloom. We don't need 2 Witherbloom. I'm going to put back one of the Witherbloom. All right. And I feel like this is pretty good because we can Island Ponder. We don't have days, which is noteworthy. So we can't really stop a turn 2, but it doesn't look like they're presenting a turn 2. They're pondering. Surveil is kind of free to do here. And hold up Brainstorm in case of an emergency. I like the idea of just getting the Surveil land out of our deck. Again, we never want to draw it, so. The scariest thing they could do would be to play like a Cavern of Souls or something like that. If they play out the next one, I can try to Bowmaster it next turn or try to Witherbloom it, but they may have days. Urza Saga. I'm going to try to find a Wasteland. That would be great here. Just keep their AB off the table. Keep the Shuko itself off. Murktide, it's too early. We don't need it. Carpet. Okay, so hear me out. We could Carpet, and then we could Witherbloom. No, we could Carpet, and then we could Ponder, and we could keep a blue source up. I like that. I would be so thrilled. I'd be over the moon if they force this. Because I've already presented extra mana. So my plan here, assuming Carpet resolves, is to Ponder and then try to find a force. They force pitching Nadu. Okay. I think they have a really... Let's think about that. Does that mean they have a really passive hand or a really aggressive hand or redundant copies of Nadu maybe? It does make me want to just pass so we can react. I'm trying to think of what that means. I think that means they may have the combo. Because, yeah, they might have the Cephalid Illusion. Like, pitching Nadu, they must have like a graveyard strategy. We don't have any cards that interact with the graveyard at instant speed. I didn't put Fairy Macabre in the deck, even though Pokemoki had it. I just have the 2 Nile Spell Bombs and the Grafdigger's Cage, which we didn't bring in, and which I've been told by Max, who top-aided the American Eternal Weekend with this deck, with Nadu Breakfast. Been told that you don't generally want to bring in carpets. Or, you don't generally want to bring in the other card that I mentioned, Nile Spellbomb, or Grafdigger's Cage. You do want... okay, so here, I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm, and then we can shuffle if we need to. This shows the most cards. We've got our land drop. We don't need 2 land drops. I like the idea of filling up our yard. So I think I'm going to put back the Underground Sea. And I'm going to put back a Bowmasters. Is that right? Yeah, I'm going to put back Bowmasters because Witherbloom Command can do a lot for us here. Then I'm going to play this out. And if they don't do anything, I will draw that Bowmasters. They may just go the Construct route, which is totally fine with me. Okay. Actually, I do need to crack these because there is the risk that they go get Pithing Needle. Okay, they're just going the Construct route, which is fine. So I am going to go ahead and crack these just because I don't want to get Pithing Needle blown out. So let's get a Trop. We could get a Trop in a Swamp. I think it's actually fine to get Underground Sea and Swamp here because, again, we're drawing 2 potential creature that does a lot. I can't remember what it's called. Harbinger of the Sea. Sorry, I often struggle with like the names because I'm thinking of other things, and I've always had that, like, even when I was a kid, like, I'm much better at describing what a card does than I am at, like, remembering the exact name of it. So based on what they're currently presenting, I don't feel too bad about just pushing this. It shrinks the other construct. Yeah, I want to do that. So they're technically kind of getting a 2-for-1 off the Urza Saga. That's fine. So what I can do here is I can Witherbloom and kill both of these. Assuming they don't have any other big plays. That does actually make it to where the construct is big enough to survive now. I wouldn't mind finding a Wasteland here. I might be able to find a Wasteland off of Witherbloom Command, which would be pretty good. I'm going to blow up that artifact though. So I'm going to mill myself and I'm going to blow up the Shuko. We're going to get back one of our fetches. We can play the fetch out. We could have attempted to Witherbloom and poke with Bowmaster, but that does run into days pretty hard, and it was really important for me to be able to do what I did there. I want to find a force. I'm going to ponder. All my cards in hand are good, so I'm not going to brainstorm yet. I'll wait until I have some dead cards before I brainstorm. These cards aren't really useful. Tamiyo might actually be good. Let's think about this. So Tamiyo could come down next turn. The main problem is I just don't want to die. I think we try to find a force if we can find one. Now Spellbomb essentially checks that box. I'm going to go ahead and play it out now, and if they daze it, it's okay. But this stops us from immediately dying. I have a morbid fear of dying. Do we want to buy anything back? We can't. All right. And now they can daze this if they want, but we've shut off the... we haven't completely shut off the win line, but we've made it a lot harder for them to win through the graveyard. Even if they have Nadu here, it's not the end of the world because they're probably not going to have both Nadu and the other guy, but they could have it, and then we just lose, unfortunately. Oh, they do have Nadu. Okay. That sucks. All right. Let's talk about our lines here. 1, we could just play out the Murktide, which can overpower Nadu over the course of several turns. 2, I think we can try to find an actual removal spell for Nadu. I think I am, I don't want this Bayou, so I think I am on train. Let's get Nadu out of our hand. Deed does everything we need here. So I think we probably actually keep the Bayou just to ensure we have daze protection. And I'm going to redraw. Actually, what I can do is I could Bayou Thoughtseize. I want to hold up Force, though. I think we Thoughtseize them this turn and hold up Force plus daze plus now Spellbomb activation. Then we draw the deed for next turn. It's Thoughtseize now. They did have it. My goodness. And they have interaction. That's terrifying. Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take the Nomad and we'll leave him with a Nadu. Yeah. I am definitely going to pop this now Spellbomb in step just to draw a card. Wow, we got so lucky they didn't have more mana because we wouldn't have been able to interact. They're coming in for damage. This is fine. They're not going to tempo us out. I've got my bases covered. All right. Tundra was the draw for turn. Let's go ahead and get rid of their graveyard. Ooh. I accidentally tapped for green. Hopefully that doesn't matter. We have green floating for no reason. Okay, we draw the card. Their graveyard's gone. Doesn't matter. They don't use their graveyard as a resource. You could argue that we just made it harder if they do have a Cephalid win line later. I'm not as worried about that. So I think it's quite likely that they force this, and I'm okay with that. I will force back because this just blows up their Nadu and their construct. And we can just park it until we're at lethal, in lethal neighborhood, basically. Okay, it's in. They could find Prismatic Ending. They do have 3 colors. That would be sad. I would just let them do it. I wouldn't blow it just to kill this construct. I can kill the construct with the Bowmaster. If they put a Brainstorm on the stack, I am going to Bowmaster for sure. Just coming in for 4, getting us low. Yeah, I am a little bit worried about my life total. So if we Bowmaster here, we get a giant construct, but they still have this thing that can kill us. I think we just have to let this go. It's actually really scary if they find the thing this turn because they can activate a bunch with it on the stack. I think we're dead. So they're going to get a bunch of activations before I can pop the deed. I can hit this and then it reduces the number of activations they get, but I don't think we win this game. I'm going to concede so we have plenty of time for the next game. Yeah, that's frustrating. And Bowmastering wouldn't have mattered there. I think we did everything correct. I think forcing the deed through was the correct line. I'm going to bring the dazes back in. Do we take out the deed? I think Fairy Macabre, I'm not convinced. It does cover that turbo angle, but I don't think they're going to try to win through turbo. I guess I did add this to my sideboard. I thought I forgot to. Copper was amazing, and then it drew a force. I feel like Harbinger will be good here. We could go down 1 Murktide. I don't know. We're really thin on win cons. Dismember is definitely the worst removal spell in our deck right now. I feel like we can go down to Merc. I'm going to go down to Merc. We're not going to try to turbo them. We're going to control them. All right, this is a freaking awesome hand. Bowmasters is good. Spot removal. I'm going to snap keep this. I think we go ahead and we open... We could open Surveil Land, and then next turn we can just slam the Beanstalk. We could also Daze, or Ponder. No, I think we hold Ponder as our force pitch. And I'm just going to do the Surveil trigger. Next turn, we have the option of either going up the Beanstalk or just playing out Tamio. If we find a Brainstorm, then we'll just play out Tamio. And we'll hold the Brainstorm as protection for Tamio. Okay, they're not doing anything. We're going to Surveil. This is an above average draw. Yeah, I'm going to take it. I may take a turn off from Tamioing so I can develop. No, I think I'm just going to go for it. No, I'm going to develop. Force number 2 is really good. Shield's Edict is really good. All these cards are great. We don't want to pitch them if we don't have to. I think we take the Force now, and then we'll take Ponder next turn, and if we need to, we can take the Shield's Edict. They do have Teferi in their deck, which is pretty terrifying. But what I plan to do next turn is probably just Ponder and try to find another land. Like a Wasteland would be good. Okay, they're using their Hedge Maze. They bin to Thassa, so that was a really good Surveil for them, because they definitely don't want to draw that. This is fine. We can't interact with it meaningfully. Yeah, I think we draw Ponder, and then the other alternative is we could just shuffle to try to find land number 3. Land number 3 is going to be really good. Now that we have Beanstalk, we just don't want our Beanstalk to get dazed. We don't have to fight over that. We want to fight over their business, not ours. Okay. And I think I talked myself into surveilling here. Or, I'm sorry, just fetching upkeep instead of drawing yet another Ponder. Because the upside of us being able to Beanstalk now is really big. This is an opportunity to grab Swamp. I think we take a later opportunity. That may come back to haunt us. Land? Land. Green, blue, Beanstalk. All right, we're in. And I am going to take this out immediately. So their dazes are on for this turn, but they're not going to get any value out of that Saga. Not only does it create constructs, which were a pain last game, but it also does search for their Shuko, which is really good. So they've got a full grip over there. This is fine. I don't think they would cast that without playing a land drop if they had a land drop. Okay, they did find another Urza Saga. All right, we definitely want to find land now. I would love to, I would probably just slam this Narset if we found, okay, land. All right, so what I think we do here is we probably just, Lorien, we go get a land. I'll just get another Underground Sea for now. I'll play it out. And I think I'm going to go ahead and play out Tamio. Because we can kind of flip her at will through, forcing if we need to. We still have 2 forces up. They're going to need another land to create constructs. Otherwise, they're just going to be using this to go get a Shuko. They did find the other land. Okay, so they're going to have a construct potentially here. That does make our Narset a lot worse. Okay. I think I'm going to start by creating a clue, and then I'm going to ponder, and we'll figure out what we want to do from there. I do want to find a Wasteland. That would mean that they only get 1 construct, and they spend an entire turn cycle creating a 1/1 that we can potentially just ping. Okay, we did find the Wasteland. These are all good cards. We're going to take the Wasteland now. We'll take the Deed later. We may not want the Deed. Let's go ahead and waste here. They can go ahead and do their thing if they want to. Okay, they're not. Oh, they are. And I think if they go for it, if they make the construct, I think I am going to go ahead and Bowmaster immediately. That's not necessary. They've got their 1/1. I can just ping if they put another artifact out there. I want to keep my mana up. Very worst, I can activate a clue. I'm not interested in flipping Tamio. I'm interested in amassing card advantage. There is risk associated with this. Letting this resolve. I think I'm going to force it. I'll just pitch a ponder. Okay, we draw. That's the land we knew about. We also know that we're going to draw a Pernicious Deed, but I don't want to blow up my board. I'm just going to take this damage. End step, we're going to crack a clue. Got our Howling Mine. They are brainstorming in response, that's fine. Just getting the brainstorms out of the way of the Bowmasters. But Bowmasters is still going to be good, even if it just pings off this construct. We could make ourselves very safe by just dropping this this Pernicious Deed. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to attack first, and then I'll probably just be able to crack this Spell Bomb. We've got 5 minutes exactly on the clock. We need to play quickly. Play out a land. I'm going to pass with lots of options. Narset is good, but she's not that great when they have this on the table. We have to get rid of that first. They have a second Surveil? They do. The next attempt at doing something powerful, I'll probably have to interact with Orcish Bowmaster if they brainstorm or something. Certainly if they attempt to put an artifact in, I'm just going to go ahead and ping. But I will take a damage here. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to Bowmaster this. Okay. Bowmaster ping kills that. And we're starting to amass our army here that we can use to interact. I'm going to go ahead and force here because I don't think there's a way they can win this turn cycle. And I'll have Deed out to shut off other wins. They're plowing a second time, which is fine. So that was a pretty good exchange. All right, now we have an answer. Okay, so that dies. They do get their Ponder. They've got 2 cards left. Murderous Cut is going to cantrip when we cast it. We need to hurry. Time is a pretty big enemy here. Just been very deliberate with my decision making. Witherbloom command is not what we want to do right now. Is it? Maybe it is. Because we can... I think this is a good turn to just put Deed on the table. This is something they just have to deal with. It may seem crazy to pop this, but we want to have it out. I think we have enough bases covered that we're going to be okay here in terms of not dying. Murderous Cut can be dazed. But this, at the very worst, can like blow up, depending on how they sequence it. I will cut a Nadu if they play Nadu and then they play the Nomad. But it's troubling that that can be dazed. They may not have dazes in on the draw. Teferi would be bad here. There's the Nadu. Land. Don't have it. They do have it. Okay, this has to work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this work? They've got 1 card in hand. We get a draw trigger. What do they reveal? Another Nomad? Okay, well, we get to kill this one. Oh my goodness, that's such a relief. Okay, and now this Deed should carry us. They have a Pithing Needle. They're going to probably name Deed, but we can actually blow up their Needle. I think I'm just going to blow up their Needle and mill us and try to find a Wasteland. We have 3 minutes and 39 seconds. We have 2 Murktides in our deck that we're drawing to. I can't remember actually if I took out two of them. I hope I didn't. Bowmasters is also good. This is intense. Okay, they did name Deed. I'm kind of like in favor of just blowing up both of these, but then we had to deal with Saga Constructs. Another Spell Bomb. Okay, so here's what I think we do. I think we go ahead and do this with a Bloom. And I'm just going to kill the things that I can definitely kill. They are very low on resources here. Now we're going to go for an attack. Then I'm going to brainstorm. Brainstorm here. We got to find the Murktide. Okay, we're not finding the Murktide, but we are finding good stuff. I'm going to put back the Spell Bomb. I'm going to put back the Fatal Push. Okay, she flips. Play this out. I'm going to plus her. And I'm just going to chill for a turn. I'll fetch. Shuffle away that stuff that we don't need. Okay. I can just Deed for 0, but I lose a lot of clues if I do that. We know they have one of their 2 cards is a Nomad. To compound the situation, I should have gone to the bathroom in between matches, and now I don't have a chance. Oh no! All right, there's Nomad. Sure. They've put their cards on the table. I'm just going to go ahead and hit their graveyard now, I think. Draw a card. Maybe that was bad because I didn't need to do that. Yeah, I think that was bad. That was me reacting to time pressure. Because now they potentially have like another way to win. I'm just going to go get the Sanctuary back. We're going to put a Force of Will on top, I guess. I definitely could have put Lorien Revealed there. Again, I'm playing fast. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and draw a random card. No, wait, it's not a random card. I think I'm just going to buy back a Brainstorm, or buy back a Ponder. Like, the only card that matters here is finding a Murktide. And then we can find another blue card as well. So let's find that Murktide. Any order shuffle. Wasteland would have been good there. Bowmasters is fine. I'm going to go ahead and attack. And then I'll just Bowmaster Surprise here if they block. That's fine. I am going to Bowmaster Surprise. I'll just hit them because I can't kill their dude, unfortunately. Yeah, that's fine. Then I'm just going to pass with lots of interaction up. Yeah, I'm playing super sloppy. It's not about them winning. It's about me not it's about me not winning, you know, like due to time pressure. Okay, that's fine. They can search. They can go get a Shuko. That's fine. I think I'm just going to cut it just to draw a card here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Black. I'm not using a mana efficiently to do this. Draw trigger. My goodness, like I'm my nerves. I'm losing to my nerves here. They can take all their time. They've got 5 minutes on the clock to my 1 minute, and so I've got like to win this in 80 seconds. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it, unfortunately. I'm just going to go all out assault mode here. Don't have time to crack the clues. There's a Regent. Blue, blue. Regent. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. Draw trigger. Okay, it's coming in. I'm just going to push here. On that. We're going to attack. Attack all. I'm not even going to bother plussing Tommy. I'm just going to pass. 49 seconds. I just have to get to attacks and we win. That's fine. That's fine. They can keep equipping. I'm going to force this. This is our last card. Black. Okay, and they conceded. They were very kind to concede there because even though I did have the win, I would have had a click, and they could have. What they could have done is like done a bunch of tricks and stuff during their upkeep and made me like pass priority a bunch. They could have been a total jerk there, and they weren't. And I very much appreciate them not doing that. I could have like always yielded and stuff, but like I had 34 seconds on the clock. All right, so we're 4-0. We're going into the final round. Let's keep our nerves about us and let's see if we can clinch this trophy. All right, we are here for the final round. I had to relocate, so pardon if it looks weird. Switch our opponent luck. They're likely on Painter, and I think this is a perfectly fine hand. It's got lots of interaction for creatures. I'm going to keep it. Our goal is to control them and eventually win with the Murktide, which is hard when they have a bunch of blasts in their deck. We have beaten this opponent before. Okay, they're not on Painter. That's actually really good for us. They're on Nadu. And I think my hand's fine for Nadu. It's not spectacular. Right? So I do think we have an okay Nadu matchup. Another Fatal Push. I think we start by just Underground Sea Fatal Pushing and just try to slow them down a little bit. This is the Bolt the Bird strategy you've heard so much about, undoubtedly. And then next turn we can Ponder for a land. And our Bowmasters are going to be really good post-board, depending on the density of X1s. But we know that they have at least Noble Hierarch. They could also have Quirion Ranger. So they're on the Elf version. 4 cards in hand. Do they have a land? They're going to pick up their land. They're going to replay. Okay, bird. So return a forest to your untap target creature. Activate only once each turn. This is kind of an enabler. I definitely want to take out both of these. If we find a land, I just want to get rid of both of them. All right, we didn't find a land. We could be very punished if we fail to find a land here, but I think we should chance it. Okay, we did find a land, but it's unfortunately it's a hedge maze. Oh gosh, this is pretty terrible. If we don't find a land here, we're really punished. Hedge maze at least. It digs through the... What do we want to put in our graveyard? Probably the brainstorm. So I think I'm going to stack it like this, and we're just going to maze. We're going to hope that they don't have Nadu, because if they have Nadu, they can just go off. And I'm going to assume that they kept that hand on the strength of having something good. So I presume they have a Nadu in hand, and we're probably just dead. They can only target Nadu with this once, but that may be enough. The fact that they don't have more mana, they might have to do something, use the Quirion trigger on just untapping, but I think actually if they return this, then they have 4 mana. And they have a white mana, so they could play out the entire combo here. Here comes the core. Okay, do they also have the Nadu? It looks like they don't. They're going to go get the thing that gives invulnerability. Oh, they're just going to get the Arbor. Okay, now they're going to bounce that. Okay, this is great. I'm just going to take out the Quirion Ranger, and then I can take out the Nadu, or the Nomad if we have to. But we're on like the quote-unquote bad version of this deck that's really in on Nadu, which means that, you know, Grafdigger's Cage could be good. Okay, so options. 1, we could just dismember here first, and then we can push this, and then they are pretty far from being able to get their combo together. Target forest you control. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we just start by killing this. Otherwise, they actually can't. Yeah, I am going to hit this though. I'm going to do a lot of damage to myself, which is unfortunate, but I think it needs to be done. I could actually, now that I've gotten that out of the way, they still technically have Nadu off the top. Could ponder and take a chance. I could absolutely get blown out here, but I've got a lot of land in the deck. I think I'm going to ponder and see if I can find a land. Okay, we did find the land. We found a Beanstalk, which is quite good. Fortunately, we can't have the Beanstalk and hit the Nomad. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Polluted Delta, play it out, and then if I need to, I can push or cut. But if I don't need to, I can draw this Beanstalk. And then I can shuffle after I've drawn that. So I don't think it hurts to have a little optionality here. And also, it's possible they present a better target. They could play Gaia's Cradle, which would be unfortunate, but I think we just have to accept that as a risk. They're doing Court of Calling now for 1. Okay, this is a window for us to go ahead and push this. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and push this now, because if they do find the sacrifice of land to protect creature, that's bad for us. I am going to go ahead and get the Underground Sea, because I may want to be able to rebuy stuff. So we're getting closer. Actually, now they can just replace it with a different Nomad. I didn't think about that. They probably should just get another Nomad if they have the Nadu in hand. But I think if they had the Nadu in hand, they would have played it out last turn. I could be wrong. Okay, they got Ellis Shepherd instead. So now their cards are uncounterable, but we do have a way of removing that. Once Upon a Time, hardcast. If they do find Gaia's Cradle, Allosaurus Shepherd can hit us pretty hard. They did find the Cradle. The last card, don't be a freaking... Look at Green Sun Zenith, right? Yeah, I think they're going to go get Nadu here. We can Murderous Cut the Nadu, but that does give them a trigger. Yeah, this is a really bad situation. I'm not sure I played correctly. They are attacking for 1. So they're hellbent, but we're going to give them a card when we target with Nadu, or when we attack Nadu. Witherbloom Command is actually okay. We Witherbloom, we target this. I think we need to... So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill Nadu first, and then I'm going to Witherbloom, get the waste. Well, we don't have a waste. We might flip a waste. So let's get rid of 1, 2, 3. Gosh, we're getting rid of a lot of good stuff. 4, we got lots of brainstorms. Okay. Let's see what they flip. Allosaurus Shepherd. Okay, that's unfortunate. Because Allosaurus Shepherd can buff the other Allosaurus Shepherd. But they're not. The Allosaurus Shepherd is not going to be in play. So we are going to target mills and target creature is dead. Boom. Boom. Please give me a wasteland. Show me the wasteland. Didn't get the wasteland. We got a trop. I think we want to be able to get the... They've currently got 6 mana, so they could buff this to 5, and then they could attack us. I think I could just put a Fatal Push on top. Yeah, I think that's the play. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead and just fetch now. I'm going to go get a Mystic Sanctuary. I'll put a Fatal Push on top. That is the card we want. No, wait, Witherbloom is actually better. Yeah, I'll put a Witherbloom on top. And now I'm just going to play out the Spellbomb, and I'll pass. And we can draw off the Spellbomb next turn. We just want to cantrip through it. We're definitely going to board those out. They have a lot of mana. If they drew a Green Sun or something like that, we're pretty screwed. But if they didn't, then we do have a narrow window in which we can do stuff. Okay. Oh, okay. Their draw for turn was Forest. They can attack us for 1. They didn't attack. I think that's questionable. Let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They can actually buff this. Yep, that is kind of a problem. So let's draw our card. I'm going to start with a Brainstorm here. We can get rid of a lot of these cards. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, this is a shuffle effect. I don't want this Spellbomb. I don't really need this Brainstorm. I'm going to go ahead and play this out, and I'm going to go ahead and hit this now, and we'll see how they react. If they're smart, they'll go ahead and tap everything and buff the Allosaurus Shepherd. Now we're going to go to combat. Okay, and they are buffing the Allosaurus Shepherd, which is unfortunate. We're going to go to post-combat, and we're just going to Witherbloom. And we'll pick up the Wasteland. And I'm just going to take out the Dryad Arbor. I mean, it's extra damage potentially. Actually, if I take this off, they don't have a source for white. I think that's probably better than hitting the Dryad Arbor. Okay, we're going to get the Wasteland back. Next turn we have Lorien Revealed, which is probably too slow. I think I just pass, and end step I can draw a card off now. Spellbomb. They're going to be able to potentially hit me for a lot here. Okay, they're just coming in for 2. That's fine. I think I'm going to go ahead and pop this, and then... oh no, they have another Cradle? Okay, well we have to hit this now, because otherwise they can hit us for a whole lot. So I'm going to do that. Just get rid of their graveyard and draw a card. It's a land that we don't really want. Okay, so we can take 2 more if we kill this Cradle. Daze is not spectacular, considering that they have an Allosaurus Shepherd out. I think I am going to take this Cradle. And we're going to chill. Next turn, we'll Lorien Revealed. So we're going to take 4 for sure, basically. So we're effectively at 5. But I do think we want a Lorien Revealed here. And we have to dodge a lot of stuff on their end. Another Cradle would be bad. But assuming that they're drawing, just like little... Okay, there's a land. That's fine. All right. I'm going to take a chance with the Lorien Revealed, depending on what we draw. If we draw a Fatal Push, then I'll just get rid of this. Force doesn't really help at all. Yeah, we're going to have to take a chunk here. I'm just going to go get the Bayou, I guess. Increase the range of colors we have. Yeah, and if they get Cradle, we're dead. See, they need 2 more mana somehow in order to... Yeah, Murktide will be great next turn if there is a next turn. Because Murktide will put up a big wall. It'll be an 8/8. I don't think they have much removal in their deck at all. So we just have to dodge Nadu. Court of Calling would be bad. Green Sun Zenith is bad. Natural Order. This is bad. We can't counter it. They can fetch and they can create a copy of Allosaurus Shepherd if they want to pay the mana. So the trigger goes on the stack and they can create a copy of it. And it looks like that's what they're doing. Now they have 2 Allosaurus Shepherds. Okay, they're going to swing for 2. We're dropping to 4. I'm going to get rid of that Savannah, this Wasteland. But our force is really languishing in our hand now that they have double Allosaurus Shepherd. Right. Yeah, I don't think there's any point in holding it for Cradle, because if they find Cradle, we're just dead. If we hit this, then it reduces the ability for them to play Nadu off the top, but I think... Yeah, I guess I'll go for that. I don't think they play Plow. Maindeck they might. Okay, let's go ahead and exile 1, 2. We have an 8/8 wall in play now. I'll just hold these cards for Brainstorm. Again, guys, Cradle and we're dead. Noble Hierarch buffs, but only if they only attack with one creature. They can't really attack with anything unless they want to lose stuff. It may make sense to attack anyway. Okay, so what we're really looking for is a Bowmaster would be insane right here. Or Brainstorm. Okay, we're just drawing lands. I'm just going to chill. This is unfortunate. Not really a lot of tactical advantage to playing out land where we're this low on life. I guess I'll play it out. Yeah, just in case. But we've already used our Hedge Maze. We used our Sanctuary, so there's no utility left in the lands. This is nightmarish. They're going to create a bunch of copies. Yeah, we really need something good to save us here. They can go ahead and attack in, and basically I think they have us dead on board. They can crack, and they can create another one. Okay, so we're going to go to block. We're just going to block this one. The Springheart Nutuko will fall off. They're going to go ahead and activate it in response. Create yet another one. So I think the only out we have is drawing either a Brainstorm or a Bowmaster. Bowmaster would save us for a little bit. Not a lot. And they're drawing to a lot of insane stuff. Yeah, Bowmaster would potentially save us here because it would take one off the board and it would put 2 blockers onto the table. Fatal Push. Let's see, this doesn't attack. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we're dead. That sucks. That was really disappointing. But to their credit, they executed their backup plan and we stalled out. I think putting Witherbloom back was correct. It's just unfortunate that they had exactly the amount of mana that they needed to buff the Allosaurus Shepherds. So Grafdigger's Cage comes in. Pernicious Deed definitely comes in. That would be amazing. Both of the Bowmasters come in. Cards that are coming out. I don't really like this member here against the aggro deck. Narset doesn't do anything against their deck. They don't draw cards. Shieldred's Edict is extremely expensive. Ineffectual removal. I think we cut that since we're bringing in 2 extra things. Daze could play a role here. Now Spell Bombs come out for sure. Harbinger can do some work. They do play a lot of non-basics, but I don't think it's that great. Consign can stop a few triggers. I don't think that's that great. I think we run it like this. All right, so our game plan is to just try to outdraw removal and draw wastelands and manage them. And if we can get a Grafdigger's Cage in play, that's really powerful. If we can get a Pernicious Deed in play, that will be incredibly powerful. Okay, this is a Grafdigger's Cage and Pernicious Deed hand. This is a keep. So what I'm going to do, they're mulling to 6. Green Sun Zenith is basically the best card in their deck here. So I do think that this Grafdigger's Cage is going to pull some work unless they brought in Prismatic Ending. I don't think I presented anything that was Prismatic Ending-able last game. If we go ahead and play Tamio, the worst thing they can do is Green Sun for a Dryad Arbor. And we get a clue and we kind of get our engine going. So I think I am going to start with the Tamio here. Once they reveal a Trop. So let's see what they get here. Mana Dork. Okay. So I think this turn we're going to bolt the bird since they mulliganed. They do have another land in hand. Oh, Witherbloom's even better. I think it's better to just push this. They're going to have other X1s we can kill. And then to go ahead and play the Grafdigger's Cage. I think we can put out the Bayou here because of the colors in our hand. I do think it's important. And it's important that we have a non-blue land in case they do have choke. Cage is in. We're going to create a clue and we're going to pass. Next turn, we are going to Witherbloom one of their weenies if they put one out. And we are going to return a land and play it. And then we'll have the option of like brainstorming if we really want to. That's fine. That will die. Next turn, Do you have any other creatures you want me to potentially kill? That's fine. Okay. Wasteland is a good pickup. I think we can Wasteland first. Now we can go ahead and go black. Oops, green, black. And I'm trying to play fast because my like new setup is a little bit distracting. Like change is hard. Let's get our Wasteland back. Let's attack and let's pass. So we are looking to close this game ASAP. I would definitely like to find a Murktide. I think it was a mistake for me to not get a Murktide. Or get a duel that can cast Murktide. I mean, they could have Choke for sure. They could have Carpet of Flowers. They could have a lot of things here. Priestly Bill's fine. Alright, so more removal is also not bad. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by... I'll attack first, and then I'll Brainstorm. Now I'm going to flip her with this Brainstorm, and then I can plus her. Bowmaster's great. I don't mind redrawing this. I'll play out my Swamp now. And when he attacks in, assuming he doesn't buff, I can just eat him in combat. Oh no, I forgot to plus. I'm such a dum-dum. That was a horrible play. And that's me responding negatively to time pressure and the pressure of being 4-0 in this league and being down a game. It's fine. There's the trigger. This is really bad. I'm going to go ahead and poke this. Oh no, they can respond by fetching. Yeah, I just cascading arrows here. Yep, they're going to go ahead and do it again, which, they totally should. I just punted. I should have poked them instead. Doesn't even matter. Yeah, I'm just throwing this game away. Pernicious Seed will buy us a lot, but it's also going to cost us our Grafdigger's Cage, which is one of our most powerful cards in the matchup. It is Christmas, and I have traveled today, and that is what I'm going to use as my excuse. I do have to sacrifice this because of my own foolishness. Yeah, I'm on a completely different setup. I grabbed all my gear and just had to rush out the door basically before game 4. I'm definitely feeling it coming in like Christmas night. I would have 100% of just started a different league in parallel and come back and done this game when I felt more fresh. But in order for me to do new leagues, I have to go ahead and play this one. So we're going to start by doing this because we should have done this. Now, I think what I have to do is probably just crack a clue. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely be regrowing something good. I think I'm going to play this out. I think I am going to go ahead and hit their land. So I can ponder and then just chump and keep Tamio alive long enough to get back the Witherbloom command. Because she'll lose 1 loyalty. Yeah, it's not really a good plan, is it? I think I'm just going to ponder here and try to line up something good for later. Okay, Bowmasters can surprise. Sanctuary doesn't do anything here. Brainstorm is okay. I think we just take the Sanctuary or the Bowmasters and we'll use that next turn. And we're going to pass. If they have a fetch, that's really bad for us. So this is 3 damage. I think I just let this through. Keep my Bowmasters. Because I can chump with them next turn. Yeah, I'm just going to let it through. Keep the Bowmaster. That might be a weird play, but Tamio's still alive. Do they have the fetch? A Shepherd. That's annoying. Do they have a land? Oh, okay, good. I can poke one of the Shepherds here. I'm going to try to find a fetch. I really don't want a lot of those lands on top. We know that we have yeah, we found it. Oh my goodness, this is so good. I really don't want these lands. Okay, so let's play that out. Plus here. If we wait, they can do stuff. Like if they do draw a fetch, they can keep this alive. I'm going to go ahead and fetch first. Get a Trop here. I'm going to ponder. Looking for Fatal Push. I can't both Fatal Push and do other stuff this turn. Yeah, I already used my fetch. I'll draw the Fatal Push. I think I'm just going to go ahead and ping. I'm having to make pretty rushed decisions due to time pressure, due to my own failings. I mean, this is all me. We're almost certainly going to double block if they attack. If they don't attack, I'll just hang back. But a single fetch just like really blows this open for them because they can buff up that Outsource Shepherd. I have to hope that this Grafdigger's Cage is keeping a bunch of stuff in their hand though. I'll be really embarrassed if I lose this game because I feel like my deck is giving me all the tools I need to win it. They're not attacking, that's great. All right, we're just going to plus. Okay, another Tomio is fine. Oh, I think I can crack a clue. Wasteland, I'll play it out. And I can go ahead and Fatal Push now. At this point, I'm going to Fatal Push that. Now, I think I just pass with Clue Token activation. They don't have a lot going on their side of the table. I can double block. They attack in, and I can just crack Clue Instep. I think they're still playing because of the clock. They are running me lower on time. Draw. It's a Ponder, that's good. So now let's go find the Murktide and let's just close this door. Murderous Cut's a good pickup. Murktide, please. I'll take both. I'll take the Murktide first, and then I can just Fatal Push next turn. Oh, I don't have a blue source. I can change that. I'm just going to plus. And they may mercifully concede now that I'm about to ultimate Tomio. I'm just going to go ahead and hit that, and then I'm going to go ahead and push Murderous Cut. Endurance. That is a big pain, but it's not the end of the world. I'll get all those cards back, and I'm actually going to draw a lot more cards as a result. Oh, I can't even Fatal Push or I can't Murderous Cut anymore. Okay. Yeah, I'll just draw. Okay, so we just need to get rid of this, and then we need to put enough stuff in our graveyard that we can win. So I think what I do here, okay, Witherbloom Command is good. Just going to go ahead and Witherbloom first. Target player mills 3, kill target creature, cast, mill myself, I'll kill this. I'll bring this back. I'll play this out. I'm just going to go ahead and ping this to death. Next turn, I will play my Murktide. For now, I'll chill with lots of interaction in my hand. And then I'll just beat them really quickly with the Murktide. But they're not conceding, so yeah, my clock is going to be super low for game 3. Again, I think it's a favorable matchup. I just haven't been playing that tight. Okay, they conceded. Thank goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, that actually gives me a lot of hope here. Thank you, Bingus Mingus, for that mercy. Okay. So, sideboard, I think Daze gets really bad on the sideboard. Sheoldred's Edict, as bad as it is, comes back in. Is that even true? No, I think Daze is better than Sheoldred's Edict. Sheoldred's Edict is a terrible card in this matchup. It's so slow. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that, and so I guess I'm not making any changes. Maybe as bad as Sheoldred's Edict is, it's still better than the Daze. I'll keep 1 Daze. Okay, this is a no land mulligan. Unfortunate, but it happens. This is a extremely mediocre hand. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put back the Sanctuary. We're going to hope to not have to force anything until Beanstalk comes out, but I mean, come on, how likely is that? Okay. So they kept 7. They went for basic first, which could be a sign of weakness. I don't know. Just going to open Misty Rainforest with the ability to Surveil, and I think we pass. If we get Beanstalk on the table and we actually are able to force things without the Shepherd being involved, then that'll be good. If this is, okay, Quirion Ranger, I think we let that happen. We're countering any sort of Green Sun Zenith type effect. Okay, so now they're going to get 2 mana. We can't counter that, unfortunately. And, I mean, that may be the game right there. Just that, the resolution of that spell. There's a Green Sun. Now they're going to get the one that prevents us from being able to target their creatures. But they only have 1 land in play. Oh, they just got a Noble Hierarch. This makes me think that they are going to slam a Cradle or something like that. So we're really looking for spot removal for this Shepherd. If we can get rid of the Shepherd, that's great. This is a blue card for force, but force doesn't matter. I think we have to keep digging. Bowmaster would be amazing. Grafdigger's Cage does do some stuff here. I think what we need to do is probably go ahead and brainstorm first. See what we find. See if we can find a fetch, because I would love to shuffle some of this back. Okay, we didn't find the fetch. We did find a Thoughtseize, and we found a Grafdigger's Cage. I think we play out Cage this turn. Shieldred's Edict, of course, is a really bad card. Yeah, I'll do it like that, I guess. And then I'm trying to be decisive here. I'm going to go ahead and just drop the Cage, because this reduces their ability to go get Nadu if they don't have him already. Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good card, but they are able to hit us for a lot this turn. And if they have a Cradle, they're able to hit us for a whole lot. Thoughtseize is not looking great, but it is probably better than, okay. Nadu uncounterable. Very unfortunate. Okay, and this means that they may have the combo. Oh, they did have a freaking Guy's Cradle. Okay. So now they can hit us for a ton with this Shepherd, if they so choose. Sylvan Safekeeper naturally out of hand. This game is over. Unfortunately, everything came apart with this just natural out of hand. It's uncounterable. Like, there's literally no way we can get back into this. I'm sorry that the run had to end this way. But, like, I can't think of a single thing that can happen here. Okay, we're going to take a ton here. 6. And they've got the Nadu combo, basically. They can start sacking lands anytime they want. They can just start, triggering Nadu with Quirion Ranger. They had like a really strong hand, and it lined up extremely well against what we were trying to do. We know what we're drawing, and it's not going to help. I'm going to concede. So we did our best. We didn't win one of those 3 games. I'm really happy with how this league went. I'm sad that it's not a trophy. I feel like getting like a no-lander and then getting a hand that, like, I guess I could have mulled again, but they had to have this out of hand. Like, and I'm not sure how many of those they run. Let's go ahead and do some quick check. Hang on one sec. I'll pull up the deck list. So they're probably playing something like this. And as you can see, they do have Force, Allosaurus Shepherd, so it's not unlikely that they are going to have it. Assuming they're playing this list. This is what they were playing back in September. I don't think the list has changed too much. This is like a Green and Suns Court of Calling deck list. Even though we did draw our Grafdigger's Cage, it didn't matter because our opponent just had like the most powerful cards in hand. And the most powerful cards in the matchup are Allosaurus Shepherd and the protection creature Sylvan Safekeeper. So, sorry to end the league on kind of a down note, but I am going to continue to play this deck. I love it. Let's pull it up. So, I think that Beans is really strong right now, and I'm just going to queue into another league and probably record that and share that. But yeah, let me rearrange this real quick so I can talk about it real quick. Okay, so this is how I think about the deck. I think about it in terms of, these are like your actual mana lands. These are kind of your utility lands, Mystic Sanctuary and Hedge Maze, Lorians. And then we've got our cantrips. We've got our heavy removal suite, 10 removal spells effectively. And then we've got our threats, which are really just the 2 Orcish Bowmasters and the Murktides. Those are the only things you actually end the game with in terms of combat damage. But Tamio is a threat in that she threatens to run away with the game. Narset is a threat in that it completely locks your opponent out. And Beanstalk is a threat in that you just break parity with Beanstalk. So, and then we have the counter magic, the confusion suite I talk about, which is the 2 days, 1 Spell Pierce, 1 Thoughtseize. This is largely unchanged from when Pokemoki originally published the list. The real thing that has happened is we've swapped 2 of the Bowmasters for 2 Tamios, and we swapped 1 of the Beanstalks for a Narset, and 1 of the Murktides has just become like an additional interaction spell. The deck is almost all interaction, 20 interaction spells effectively. So I love this list. I think it's really fun to play, and I'm going to keep playing it. It felt like we had game against everything we faced, and I almost never, there's not a horrible matchup for this. You could say Painter is a horrible matchup. I think Pokemoki said that they think Jeskai Control is a bad matchup, because if you think about it, this entire column is terrible against them. But I would say that, yeah. Oh, and these 2 cards, yeah. So it's really 12 essentially completely dead cards against Jeskai. But I would say that like this deck, the beauty of this deck is it really has game on anything. It can beat combo. It can also beat fair decks, and we saw some of that in this league, and I'm going to keep playing more leagues with it. I would love any feedback you have on my play, on any of my decisions. As always, please leave a timestamp and let me know. Also, you don't need to keep subscribing. I'm not going to keep asking people to subscribe. We did hit the 1,000 subscriber threshold, and I'm thrilled with that. So thank you for helping me get that. Currently, MTGO is not accepting creator program applications, but as soon as they do start doing it, we should qualify. So we should be able to get access to every card and I think unlimited play points to queue into leagues with. And I should be able to record a lot more and a lot more diversity in terms of what types of decks I record. But regardless of what happens, I encourage you to go forth and be excellent to each other and party on.